Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of What's on Tap. Gary Monterosso here. I'm in about week 8 or 9 of my Corona beard here, and it's kind of getting a Jerry Garcia white look here.
Good, looking good.
The guy next to me, though, looking a lot better than I am, and that is my friend, Mr. Adam Mazzola. And Adam, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for joining us from. Do you live in Pittman?
I do live in Pittman. Yes, I
From
do.
Pittman, New Jersey. Now we have to be transparent. We have to mention that we're recording this in early June, and obviously there's a lot more going on in the country than just coronavirus. But I have to applaud what took place very recently in town concerning some of the demonstrations, protesters, whichever, because it was in Pittman. Correct me if I'm wrong. Extremely orderly.
Yes, it was. It was actually organized by some local high school students.
Okay.
They pulled it together. It was their brainchild. They reached out to the police department and council and got everybody, the right people involved. And it was just a very nice, peaceful, moving, just bringing together of community. It was really remarkable.
That is what it's about. You know, we tend to criticize the youth, but we have some remarkable kids in this country. We really do. I mean, I was privileged, as you know, to teach for so many years, and some of my students I still maintain contact with, which is kind of a nice thing. It's nice to know that I guess the kids remember me, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
So there are some good kids in this country, and we have to remember them. Anyway, congratulations to the town of Pittman and to the people from the area, from the high school, I guess, who organized this and pulled it off successfully. And that's what it's about. And God bless them. Beautiful thing.
Thank you.
It is public information, so we do want to get it straight from you. But you, I guess you were the principal behind Summer Swelter Beer Festival in Pittman?
This is correct. Yeah. Our president of the Chamber of Commerce at the time, Vanessa James, was her sort of getting together with me and asking me if I, wanted to do a large event, kind of beer related, beer festival, beer garden, kind of up to me to kind of run with it. So we started that a couple of years ago and we ran with it.
And I attended last year, and I got to tell you, I said it behind your back, I'll say it to your face. It was a remarkable event. I think the organization was phenomenal. I'm sure the feedback you got from your vendors had to reflect the same consensus there, huh?
Yeah. It was a very, very well received event. I mean, in our first year, we had well over 1,000 people attend. The second year, we grew by a couple hundred more. We had 50 breweries at both years. First year we were outdoor only.
Mm-hmm.
The second year we changed locations and went indoor and outdoor to kind of beat some of the heat. But the team just did a more remarkable job pulling it together and really kind of owning certain pieces of the festival and really pulling off an amazing event. I can't say enough good things about our team.
It was at Total Turf in Pittman. For the first year, it was not there, or it was there?
No, the first year we were at parking lot of the old Sony building.
Okay.
About a half mile or so up the road from where it was in Total Turf. But yeah, it was outdoor on pavement in mid-August.
Oh, and it just reflects the sunshine and the heat, doesn't it?
It lived up to the name Summer Swelter.
It sure did. But again, you did a heck of a job in last year's event. It was really wonderfully organized, and I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
That being said, the 2020 iteration of it was scheduled for August 17th, and because of the COVID-19 situation, you very recently made the decision to postpone it until 2021, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We, a couple factors. One, I did, in August, I don't know if we're going to be in a place as a state, as a country, as a community to have that large of a gathering without masks and without social distancing. So we kind of can't really take that risk that, move forward and put deposits down and start to organize a festival that we don't know for sure can happen. And we're run by a nonprofit organization who's already, two of our tentpole events are the craft shows in Pittman. And one of them was already canceled in May, and the September one is still kind of up in the air. So, as a nonprofit, we just don't have the structure to be able to take that gamble. So we kind of had to make the call.
There is a difference then in terms of either your responsibility or the structure of being a nonprofit as opposed to for-profit event then, correct?
Yeah. We are a completely nonprofit. The everybody who runs the event, myself included, Maureen Fitzpatrick, who is heavily involved, everybody's a volunteer. We take all of the proceeds of the event and it goes right into a program in town with the chamber called Pittman Bucks, where we basically subsidize Pittman gift certificates to spend at local businesses, where the customers would spend $50 and get $70 worth of Pittman Bucks, therefore getting $20 basically for free, subsidized by the chamber, paid for by the profits of the Swelter. So it was a completely nonprofit, just completely getting it all back into small business in town.
That's a great buy. I'll tell you, it is. For people who want to come in to visit the downtown or live even in the immediate area, to get a return like that is fantastic.
Yeah, that program actually started by my wife and the president of the chamber. My wife is the treasurer. They started it, and it's just a phenomenal deal. I mean, we sold out within a couple hours of every Pittman Buck we had to sell, because it was a tremendously well received feature. As you mentioned, people, if you know you're going to shop in town, why wouldn't you do it?
Absolutely. Now, when you decided, when you made the move to go ahead and come up with an event like this, did you realize the work involved? You've attended other festivals. Let me preface it by saying you've attended other festivals. So I'm going to guess perhaps you've reached out to some of those organizers for some advice, or did you go into it on your own?
So we really went through and I went to events like the AC Beer Fest. We did the Sierra Nevada Beer Camp when that was in Philadelphia. And then we went to Glassboro Beer Fest, is another big one that's right next door. So kind of leveraging a lot of that experience that we had and what I liked about certain events and what maybe I thought could have been better at other events. We kind of pulled our mindset and, kind of came up with what we thought was the best structure. We didn't really reach out to too many other folks. We did reach out to Glassboro. We had a couple little conversations around with them. But primarily everything that happened was the brainchild of somebody on the Swelter team.
And then you went to, I guess, individual breweries and or distributors for support, correct?
Yes. Yeah. The first year we did a lot more distributor. We had a lot of New Jersey breweries, but we had a couple from across the river in Philadelphia. And then in year 2, we made the decision to be strictly New Jersey. So we went, every brewery who was at Swelter in 2019 was a New Jersey brewery. And we thought that was a really unique thing to do.
So it was obviously a larger event in 2019 than 2018.
Correct. Yes.
In terms of your vendors. Of the vendors, I'm going to imagine there were quite a few who participated both years. What was their feedback in terms of, let's say, the differences between the 2 years? Did you get anything like that?
Yes, we did hear a lot. We've always gotten very positive feedback. And there are a few of the breweries who went to both that really came back and really enjoyed sort of the indoor-outdoor feel of it. Even though the indoor wasn't exactly air conditioned, at least it was climate controlled. So there was some interesting feedback around that, around just the layout, just the vibe of the people that we had coming in. They were just effusing a lot of praise about the people who were coming in seemed to really be there for the passion of the product and not just to consume. And it was really nice to kind of hear that feedback, because that's exactly the target market we're looking for.
It's part of the reason why I personally prefer smaller venues, if you will, than the massive GABFs that are out there. They can get a little, people can get a little careless at times, let's put it that way. I kind of hate to see, people walk in and take their commemorative glass and just walk up to the first booth. And I realized that, they spent X number of dollars. They want to get as much alcohol in them as possible. Quite frankly, that's not what the craft beer movement's about, Adam. It's more about flavor. And I appreciate, and I know you do as well, I appreciate talking to the people who are responsible for the creation of some of these beverages.
Yes, absolutely. I get a kick out of talking to the breweries and some of the ones who I've gotten close to over, organizing this event over the last couple of years, and just talking to them about what kind of style do they like to brew and why, and what kind of adjuncts do they like to add to it, and what goes into their process and their thoughts. And it is an art form. It really, really is. And
I've always said, and people can agree or disagree, but brewers themselves are very creative people, and they remind me a lot of chefs. And they like to roll the dice. They like to try new things. I mean, does a chef want to create the same dish every night? Well,
Right.
So they like changing things up and trying things. And, we're privileged here in the state of New Jersey. And for goodness sakes, even in the southern part, look at what's happened in the southern part of the state of New Jersey over the last 5, 10 years. We've got some remarkable companies that have been springing up.
Mhm.
Um, I would imagine that you personally tried some beers that you'd never had before, correct? That said
Oh,
Summer Swelter.
absolutely. Yeah. One of our, so Gloucester County, which is where Pittman is located, had zero breweries as recently as 4.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly Green Brewing opened up. They just celebrated their fourth anniversary actually this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, it has taken off. And I think we have something like, 7 or 8, maybe 9 in Gloucester County now. Kelly Green puts out these sour jelly beers, and I was never a fan of sour beer, but after having a few of them and kind of getting the palate used to it, I'm totally blown away by it. I'm fixated on the style.
So your palate has changed, I guess, immensely over the last couple of years since this event started, huh?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I mean, you asked my friends not that long ago. I was an IPA guy, right down the gullet, and then now I'm in stouts and bourbon barrel aged beer and
Wow.
porters and hefeweizens and everything. So,
Look at you. Now we have to ask this now. What other events could be taking place to benefit Pittman? Summer Swelter's gone for 2020, but there are still other events on the horizon.
correct. Yeah, we hopefully the Fall Craft Show, which is one of our bigger events in town, will happen in September. We're crossing our fingers for that one.
Mhm.
Just today the governor announced some opening of some relaxing of the business guidelines. So
Right.
we have a new pub that opened up in town, Merriman's Pub. They got the first liquor license in Pittman.
Oh, cool.
So we have
Congratulations to
2
them.
breweries and now a pub, and we're really excited for them. And I think they're going to do a lot to bring more business into town.
Okay. Is there a website that people can go to find out about the events that are taking place?
Yeah, if you go to www.uptownpittman.com, you'll find all of our events, and the Summer Swelter page is located there as well. So you can
Mhm.
find out everything that's going on in town.
And of course, social media sites such as Instagram, Facebook, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely. We're at Swelter Beer, and everything else is usually it's Uptown Pittman, New Jersey. If you look for it, you'll find it on all the social
Now, I've got to kind of go off the subject here and go to something else, but have you been a frustrated dancer your whole life? Only
media.
insiders will know what the heck I'm talking about here, but I've seen some moves coming from you. They had to originate from one of your daughters, I would think.
Correct. Yeah, when we started,
Tell them, lay everything out for us, Adam.
yeah. When we found out we were going to be, home for a while, we were just trying to think like, what can we do to spice things up and keep things interesting? And my daughters are really into this app TikTok, where it's basically like a quick 15-second little clip, and every song has a different move to it. And
Mhm.
we thought it was fun and kind of a joke, like, hey, we'll get the dad to do it. So, for the past 76 days now, I've posted a different video every night, with a different dance and little thing with 1 or 2 or 3 of my daughters
Yes.
being involved. It's been really fun.
I think dad is having as much fun as his daughters may be in doing this, but you're getting a lot of views also. I've noticed that.
Yeah, it is. It's been interesting. I'm opening myself up to a bunch of new horizons and so a new audience. Made a lot of new Facebook friends off of it too. So
You may be the entertainment for next year's Summer Swelter. Who knows?
this is true. Organizer / dancer.
Absolutely. This is Adam Mazzola, my good friend and an absolutely super guy doing a remarkable thing for South Jersey, specifically Pittman. The event that was canceled, as you mentioned, is called Summer Swelter Beer Festival, but so much more that's going to be taking place in town. Got to give the founding fathers, if you will, a lot of kudos for being receptive to so many different ideas, and especially we go to craft beer. That Adam, wasn't that long ago that craft beer was the so-called redheaded stepchild. You didn't want to invite them into town, but now people, I think, are realizing that you're bringing in a good element, quite frankly, and it does translate into dollars for the town.
Yeah. When the breweries, we have 2 in town directly on our main street, excuse me, and they've just done wonders to really just foster and have a symbiotic relationship with the restaurants and the shops. You see people going from the burrito place into the brewery and vice versa. It's really tremendous, and the things that these breweries do for Main Street America really, really, really needs to be commended and supported.
Mm. I am cautiously optimistic that things will return to a degree of normalcy. I don't want to see breweries or any small business go out, go belly up because of this. And I think we all want to do what we can to try to support these mom and pop operations, so to speak. So you are certainly doing your part. We applaud you for that. And again, kudos to the great kids from in town for what they're doing. This is what it's about.
Yeah.
Make your opinion known and make it done in a peaceful manner.
Yeah. I mean, we're living in their world, right?
Say it again.
Oh, we're living in their world. So we're
Uh,
really taking care of this for them and getting it ready for them to take over. So I think, we got to listen to them. We got to hear what they have to say. And, they have some really good ideas if you pay
I
attention.
love that. Very, very good. Good response. Adam, thank you so much for joining us on What's on Tap.
Gary, it's an honor as always. Thank you.
Well, yeah. Now, what are you going to be drinking? What's the next beer that you're going to be drinking? Any idea what that is going to be yet?
Oh, I have 8 and Sand. I'm going to go pick up their version of All Together. I have my order waiting to go pick it up.
Yes, so many different all around the country. Maybe is it worldwide even, or is it just national?
It is worldwide. I've seen breweries in other countries are brewing that beer too.
Right. And so look, wherever you live, take a look at that and see what they're doing. I know Glasstown. I'm very close to Glasstown in Millville, and Paul Simmons came out with his iteration of that as well. So,
yep.
8 and Sand, we love those guys out there.
They're great.
Some cool people, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Adam, thanks again.
Thank you, Gary.
All right, talk to you soon. And we're going to be back with a little more What's on Tap. I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Mr. Peter LaFrance from Brooklyn, New York. He's been involved in the beer industry for decades. He currently moderates a site called beerbasics.com, and we're billing him as the Old Growler. And we have a segment from Peter out of New York. Great guy. Hope you enjoy his segment.
Welcome. Let's see, let me get this right. I want to make sure I get all the credits right here. Okay. I want to welcome Gary Monterosso and his program, What's on Tap, which is aired by WOT, Comcast Channel 22 in New Jersey, Thursdays at 9 p.m. and online. And he has that's his show, What's on Tap. And he has asked me very kindly to welcome him and his organization to our tasting, because they might be using it on their show, and I'd be perfectly glad to do that. Gary, welcome. It's good to have you. And let me explain how we do things here. What we do is we don't rate beers. We take a look at, let me get the other one. We don't rate beers. We take a look at what's on the label. And as on my channel, there is a whole playlist of beer tastings at the Henry Street Ale House. And you can see how we do our tastings there. And it's called Meeting Expectations. And that's because we don't rate, we see if it meets expectations. In case of this, let's give it a shot here. We take a look at the label on the can or the bottle and how it's presented, just as a consumer would, a regular walk in the store consumer with their mask on and following the arrows. And then we take a look at it, we read it, and we say, okay, what do we expect from this can or this bottle of beer? And then the bartender, Jerry Scott, pours it, and myself and a able assistant, Jim Bennis, and usually 2 or 3 of the customers also chime in and decide whether it meets expectations or not. So that's how we do things here. So let's take a look at what we've got today. This is a rebranding, a Lord Hobo 617 Hazy Pale Ale. They're very proud of their label, so note it very well, and it's important. Okay, Lord Hobo, that's the name of the organization. 617, I don't know what that means. Hazy IPA, 6.17% alcohol volume. Boy, they're really accurate. 6.17, not 6.2, 6.17. Like it. Alcohol by volume. They've got a sense of humor. Alcohol, that's by volume. Volume, 1 pint, and it says in really small print, New England born and brewed ale. Again, born and bred, born and brewed, sense of humor. Okay, what do we have on the other side? We've got the same thing. So at least we know, oops, we have something over here. Lord Hobo Brewing Company.com and how to get to, and then the government warning that if I'm pregnant, I shouldn't drink this. And they say that they are in Woburn, Massachusetts. Excellent. All right. So what are we expecting from this? A hazy IPA. 6.17%. That's not too high. Well, we have no idea what the bittering units are, but an IPA, I'm imagining it should be a little bitter. And if not, it could balance out and be a little better. A little bitter better? I don't know. A little better bitter would be good. Here we go. It's away from the computer. I'm using a red wine glass because it's a standard and it's small and I don't have to drink the whole thing. But it makes it easy for people to see what's going on. Okay, we've got a hazy one. We got some nice light coming in. I've been very lucky to have some good ambient light in this for this shoot. I'm going to be working with some lights, but that's beside the point. Okay, let's take a look at it. Yeah, it's a hazy ale. It's holding a nice head. Not much of an aroma. Not very bitter either. In fact, it's nicely balanced. It's a very friendly hazy IPA. On draft, I can imagine. No, wait a minute. I think in the can this is a little bit better because in the can it has beer has a tendency to be a little more effervescent than on draft, and I can see here, but it might be probably difficult for you guys to see, but it is an effervescent beer. I'm not like a wheat beer, but it's got tiny bubbles, tiny bubbles. But the use of the letters IPA, I was expecting to be a little bit more impressed. If they had made a mistake in the brewing, I would have called this a sour beer, but they didn't make a mistake, so I can't call it a sour beer. But it's a pleasant beer, most pleasant beer. All right. Well, does it meet expectations? No, because I was expecting a more heavily hopped product with marked IPA. Did it meet expectations in the color and everything else? Everything but the flavor, and that was. I don't think that they were going to change the flavor or the style of their beer. I think it was mainly the labeling, and I wish them luck on the labeling. And I do say that it needs a little bit of hops. That's my personal opinion. Okay, kids. Next, we've got us a friend in fermentation. Okay, this is Lindner, Lindner, apostrophe S. Hazy and juicy IPA style cider. Okay, we've got a friend in fermentation here. Everything ferments is very, it is. So let's start at the list. First of all, it's a smaller can. It's got a nice color to it. It's got the red apple, not quite apple red, but golden apple. And let's start at the very beginning here. It says, pressed and canned in the Catskills. Lindemann's hazy and juicy in Indie IPA style cider. IPA, again, I'm going hops. Now, what is hops doing in cider? But we'll find out. I hate these glasses. Hamden, New York. 12 ounce, and it's 5.9% alcohol by volume. So it's a little less alcohol than the ale. Naturally gluten-free. I wonder where you would get gluten out of an apple. Just a guess. Oh boy. Crafted and canned by Lindener's Cider, Hamden, New York. tax number, blah, blah, blah. Ingredients, apples. Contains sulfites. Again, don't drink this if I'm pregnant. Ah, some graphics. You love juicy IPAs. We love juicy IPAs. Here's our juicy IPA, made from cider and hopped to juicy, hopped cider. Now, kids, this is something new and different. Hopped to juicy perfection. Now you can enjoy a thirst-quenching, juicy IPA-style drink without the gluten. Cheers. There's the information right there. That's it right there. It looks like a cat, I think, sitting there, looking rather pleased with himself. No, that's a bear. What's the matter with you, Peter? That's a bear. Okay. Let's bring over the glass of choice. Again, another wine, red wine glass. I'm gonna crack open. Oh, well, what do we expect? Boy, cider. I mean, I know what I know what British cider is. You know, I mean, I've tasted it before. That's your Australian accent, Peter. Look out there. You don't cross the border. No, never mind. Don't start. Okay. I know what cider is, man, but okay. I don't know what to expect. A bitter cider. A better cider. Let's open it up and find out. I'm not hoping for any head on this. Jesus, Mary and Joseph, that glass is dirty. No, it wasn't dirty. It's got dust on it. That's why those bubbles are on it. Let's tap it a bit. Clean it out. All right, well, it's cloudy. It's always gray and cloudy, and sometimes I think it's falling down. Peter, don't do that. Okay. I'm not getting any hops in the nose. Well, if there's hops in there, it really should be more introductory, especially if it's an IPA. Once again, underwhelmed. Ronald, good to see you. Oh, definitely. I'd like to. Well, it's a good thing you didn't have a. It's a good thing you don't have a taste for cider, because this one, well, doesn't meet expectations. It said that it was. It says on here an IPA style cider. Is it an IPA style cider? Does it have hops in it? No. So I'm sorry, kids. Thanks very much for trying, but you did not meet expectations. And so that is the old growler and meeting expectations. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. And again, thanks for Gary Monterosa and the kids for stopping by and saying hello. And I hope they enjoyed the tasting as well.